everyone. This is Wasteland TV's classic game review. We've been gone for a while, but decided to give you guys another update. Prove that we are all still alive.
We're back.
Yes, sadly we still have Robbie. This is Brandon at the camera, filling in for Aegis 261, who's still sadly in the hospital recovering from a nasty infection. So we're just filling in for him in a moment and trying to give you a little something. Today we're going to do a little review for this role-playing game I happened to come across in a local secondhand store. It's basically what you can find if you get lucky. It's obviously, as you can tell, called Golden Heroes. It's a older superhero role-playing game, actually made by Games Workshop, the company that makes Warhammer 40,000, and those related properties. It seems like a pretty interesting system. It's actually a really old game, according to the copyright data. Copyright dates in the book here. It was actually made in 1984, so you're looking at a box and books that are frankly older than me.
And in pretty good condition.
All things considered, yes, actually. This is really a lucky find for me for $1.50.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, that's the part that shocks me the most, is how great the condition of the books are that you found them in. Especially for secondhand store.
Alright. So, moving on to the game itself. It's your plot-wise, rather than your almost typical fantasy you see in role-playing games, it's, like I said, superheroes. So, it's a different genre. It makes for a nice, change from the standard sword and sorcery and whatnot. Naturally, the players, create your own superhero and, do super heroic type deeds and the like, and such things with it.
Save grandmas from burning buildings.
Or, in the case of Robbie, reveal your secret identity to a, evil demon-worshipping cult that's trying to bring about Final Crisis or something like that. Yeah.
Hey, I saved the world before that,
and now you're just, and
smash Cyberlord's ship by ramming it with another ship.
Which brings on the, nice things about that, you can add some more over-the-topness that's, fun to play with and whatnot. Going into the, nitty-gritty of the game system, got here the books of the thing. This is from the, ye olden days when the RPGs actually came in a box like this, and you would, come with a handful of books here. So, rather than, buying, a handful of $30 books, you actually got everything you need in these, nice little soft covers. Everything you need to play here. It's got the player's book and the supervisor's book, so your player's handbook and DM's guide, essentially. The game runs off of dice, like most of these role-playing games. For this one in particular, you need about 5d6, 1 or 2 d20s, at least 2 die 10s, preferably one with a percentile. With that, most of the time though in the game you're mostly rolling just a d20 and a d6s, which is actually pretty nice for one of these. You don't have to fumble through a good half dozen types of dice like most of these games tend to. One thing that's really neat about this game is the way you create your characters. It's almost completely random. It sounds odd, but it comes out pretty interesting in this game. Rather than, other superhero games where different abilities will have a different, point score or whatever, buying flight for 20 points of your 150 or whatever. In this game, it's all completely done by dice rolls. So your character comes off, with a unique branch of abilities and whatnot every time. This pretty much a key point of this, so we're actually going to give you a quick example here. Robbie, would you roll those for me, please? We're going to skip over to the actual generation of strength and whatnot. That's pretty standard for these kind of games. Roll 3d6, and that becomes your strength, constitution, etc. Just showing you the power rolls here real quick. So, for example here, Here, Robbie just rolled a 4, so going by the rules, we now half that and add 4. So our little example hero here is going to have 6 powers, which we're going to now just roll and see what we get here. So with his 25, so with his 25, well, our little hero going by the chart here has officially gotten one of the most iconic powers there is, flight. Roll again.
69.
69. All you out there, go ahead and make your jokes. Hardy har. Speed. So he can now fly and run fast.
$68.
68. Solidify. Alright, so we have Mass Man, basically. It sounds like we're going here. You can, change his mass variables. Roll again. We're at the halfway mark.
35.
35. And heightened senses. Roll. Okay, well, go ahead. 5.
94.
94. Now, weapon skill. And one more roll, just to see what horrible abomination we came up with here.
34.
34. Another heightened sense. So, we have a flying, fast-running, flying, really heavy, sword-wielding dogman here with heightened senses, may sight and smell. Which leads to the part that was interesting in this game is that role-playing, to help encourage the role-playing aspects of it, after you get all your various powers, you do have to come up with a rationale. You actually,
Well, we sort of skipped over another thing that they could do besides powers.
There's the whole things where you can roll on the backgrounds and whatnot, but that's beyond the scope here. We're just showing that for now, where you actually are required by the rules to come up with the backstory of your character to, rationalize why your character can do what he does.
Why he has each particular power.
Exactly. Been by radioactive spider, last son of an alien planet, wearing a power armor, etc. They give you some nice examples in here. This whole group of superheroes they show here is all generated by the same set of powers. Just to show you examples of how you can work things here. So our guy could have had any number of the standard superhero power source things, unstable chemicals, magic beat stick of justice that he uses for his weapon, whatever you really like.
Hammer that magically grants him super senses
and makes him weigh a ton.
Or for all we know, he is a weapon.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat. It's fairly open about that thing, which is pretty nice. Game rules themselves are actually fairly simple. They roll each character gets 4 frames per round. Frames being what they call the action, keeping in with the comic book theme of it, things. So you go by that. Actions take 2 frames, which is actually one of the only real annoying parts of that is that something I found as a stumbling block is some of the terminology there. They use the frames to mean what most games mean by actions, but actions then are also a term used in the game to represent 2 frames being used at once. In this case, most superpowers require an action to use, which is, like I said, 2 of their frames for doing stuff, heat vision, swinging a giant sword, whatever you happen to do.
Throwing a special punch or something?
Yeah, exactly. Other things are, it's kind of a double-edged sword, is that the game's fairly rules light, which on the one hand is good because it means you don't have to memorize this giant, algebra book full of math equations, formulas, charts adding, a +5 to this, -5 to this, divided by this with a double from your flaming sword of justice, yada yada. You can jump right in, fairly simply. But on the other hand, it means the dungeon master, game master, supervisor, if we go by the official terminology of this game, is going to have to make up some things on its own, make some rules on the fly and such for certain activities that aren't covered. But hey, find a game that doesn't require that, even as they're detailed. So yeah, it's a good, fun game. Although where your characters created completely randomly, can lead to some things where you end up with Superman as one character, and Billy the boy who can talk to squirrels is the second one. So that might require some creative writing on the part of the supervisor to make sure everyone's actually useful. Think of like the old Super Friends cartoons, where every 3 episodes there have to be something to do in a lake or something, so Aquaman has something to do. So I suppose with that in mind, it keeps it within the genre. Another kind of downside of this thing is, like I said, this game was made in 1984. I don't think there's been any extra additions to it either, so yeah, good luck finding it. Like I said, I found this in a thrift store.
For a pretty good price.
True. But price really doesn't matter if you can't find anything to sell.
True.
I did a little Google searching before coming here to check that out. Frankly, Amazon.com has never heard of this game, so yeah, don't go there looking for it. eBay did have one for sale. I found through jumping through some hoops with the links. It's a whole whopping one on eBay. So this might
How much
be.
did that one cost?
Oh, about $25 counting shipping, which isn't bad. It's fun, even if you just do it for like a beer and penis game, it's for roll, see what you get. Which is a nice thing about this, is that in a lot of games I've played, the character creation can get kind of tedious, all this number crunching and whatnot. But this one, just seeing what horrible golden age mockery you end up with, it's just kind of fun. It's like then you play like Mad Libs, going up with his origin story. It's makes creating characters almost like a fun group activity to do, even before you actually get into the actual game, which is a nice thing. And forcing people to actually think about their backstory, helps people get into character there.
You got wall crawling and supervision. How in the hell did those two go together?
Exactly, come up with something, figure out what makes sense. Anyways, and I'll be honest here, that's a very big if you can find it. Hey, for a reasonable price, go ahead, take it out. You probably won't regret it. It's a fun game.
It's definitely worth it.
Yep. As long as you like, superheroes, it's. I mean, let's face it. What kid hasn't, what person as a kid hasn't, wanted to be a superhero? It's like one of those universal childhood fantasies.
It's definitely one of the first jobs I wanted.
Yeah, got horrible kind of a horrible mortality rate though, going by the things. Oh, anyways, for now we're this is Classic Gaming signing off. Hopefully it won't be 2 months before we do it again. See y'all. Say bye, Robbie.